Hello, my name is Aaliyah, and today we'll be talking about COVID and ask about the questions that has been revolving around the world. This is my dad. His name is Eric, and I chose him because he's the only one who I know that does a lot of research with COVID. So my first question, going into almost a year with this virus, how did it change your lifestyle when cases started to come upon the islands?
Well, for me, I've been more conscious about my personal hygiene as far as washing my hands constantly, sanitizing everything and anything that I touch, and the wearing of face mask when I'm out in public.
What do you do at restaurants or when you guys eat at restaurants?
We have the face mask on, and we keep the face mask on, and we keep our 6 feet distance. And we, before we enter the restaurant, they ask us to write down our address and our information, and we do when they get us a seat. Once we get our seats, we still have to keep our masks on until the food is served. Then we can take off the mask and eat.
Well, I work at a restaurant, so for me it's kind of hard to keep my mask on a lot, like for my 5 hour shift. And even when we clean up afterwards, we still have to have our mask on because there's many people working in the restaurant. And a lot of our customers don't cooperate with us with COVID rules and come in without a mask, or they refuse to wear a mask, so we have to kick them out, and that's hard. Have there been any negativity that's been involved around here?
What you mean by negativity?
Like, what negative impact has the virus made for you?
Well, for me, the negative impact is I've been laid off of my job because of COVID-19. So I was laid off, so I'm unemployed right now, collecting unemployment. That's the negative thing.
How about our family? Do you think since you're not making any income now, it's harder to not go out and buy a lot of stuff or not spend too much money on fast food or food in general?
Yes, because we have to budget now because since I'm collecting, you don't collect the full amount that you would collect if you was working. So we had to, cut off some expenses and, you know, just had to do what we needed to do to survive.
So, the only person making money now for my family is my mother and me, kind of, but I'm just trying to save up money for college and trips for now. But I wanted to get a job in order to help out my family, but I'm not making that much either. But I kind of help out around a little bit, but yeah. So, in the beginning of our lockdowns, how did you and our family react?
Oh, well, at first we was scared. We were afraid and shocked and uncertain about our future. Especially the media, they they love to throw fear out there. So of course we were afraid first and uncertain of what the future holds.
What kind of precautions did we take in the beginning?
Oh well, we didn't go out. It was a lockdown, so we only went uh, to go shopping when we needed to, grocery shopping. Other than that, we just stayed home.
Hmm. We did a lot of free food groceries from the food
Oh yeah,
banks
yeah,
and all
food
that
banks.
stuff, and that kind of helped out. And
Shout out to food banks that helped the families that needed the help during this pandemic.
throughout this year, what positive thing came out of this pandemic?
For me, I found my faith again. I have accepted Jesus Christ as my personal Lord and Savior, and I have been saved, born again, and uh, I, uh, I got
Baptized.
baptized I made the commitment to get baptized. So that was the positive. I found God. I found Jesus.
A lot of people have turned their ways to Christianity during this pandemic to find faith and hope because a lot of people were scared out there. But for many people who weren't working, they decided to have a closer relationship and closer bond with God. And my dad tried to help us do that as well. He got us Bibles, and we would have small Bible studies almost sometimes every week. And he has an app to tell him when to read and all that. And I have an app that reminds me when I get home from work to read it. And it's very interesting to see how things unfold. And what do you think is the most craziest thing you've read throughout the Bible or this COVID?
Actually, it's not crazy, but it states in the Bible that the times that we are living now, it was already written 2,000 years ago that we was going to go through this pandemic, all these hardships, these trials and tribulations now. It already was written in the Bible already about this pandemic that we're going through.
And what do you think about how these younger kids are volunteering to see if the vaccine works or not?
I think it's like playing Russian roulette or suicide because they have the vaccine for the flu and they haven't cured flu. They have cancer still around. How long? Ain't nobody found no cure for cancer. But in 6, 7, 8 months, we find a vaccine for the COVID-19 and you're willing to take it when you don't have any cases where they did recover from it. So that's like you playing Russian roulette. You're playing with your life because you don't know. It wasn't passed by the FDA or CDC.
And have you taken a COVID test yet?
No, I haven't taken a COVID test.
Okay. For someone like me who hasn't completely done a lot of research throughout the year on COVID, what are some things that you believe and what information that was presented to you or to us made you question some things?
I believe that there is COVID-19. I believe that it came from China. But I also believe, based upon the research I've done, it is a man-made laboratory disease in Wuhan, China that was made to set up this system right now to scare us, to hold us in control. So, if it really was a pandemic, right, we got hundreds and hundreds of homeless people up the street where we live. Ain't none of them practicing social distancing. Ain't none of them got no mask on. Ain't none of them wash hands or take a bath for that matter. I don't see nobody dropping dead like flies on the streets. If it was really a pandemic, then people would be dying on the streets. Ain't nobody dying on those streets. So I know I don't believe it.
Yeah, because in China, they said it came from bats, but their people have been eating all sorts of different
For years.
animals for a long time.
Bats for years.
So it wouldn't really make sense.
Exactly.
That's why in the media it's not really that trusting.
You don't trust. I don't trust the media. And matter of fact, it was research that Dr. Fauci, who's the head spokesman for the CDC, they found out that he was giving money to Wuhan, China, and that for that laboratory. And what are you giving money over there for? Why are you giving money to develop this so-called disease, sickness that was man-made? That's how I see it. It's too contradictory already.
Now, I want to ask you, what is your thoughts on COVID and multi-generational homes?
Well, Most homes here in Hawaii are multi-generational homes, as you know, because Hawaii cost of living is too expensive here. So a lot of us live multi
Oh yeah,
generational homes. Yep.
multi-generational means like your grandparents are living in one
Your
house with
parents
your
and yep, with
parents
the
and then
kids.
the
Yep.
kids.
Well, most homes here aren't big homes. They're all small, medium, modest-sized built homes. So it is impossible for us to, practice social distancing. So that was a challenge.
So, how do you think the difficulty level is for other people to keep the distance from their family?
The difficulty was very difficult. Like I said, everybody is smushed up in a small house or medium-sized house. The difficulty is to keep your distance. So if anybody was sick, then you stay in your room. That's the best thing we could do, and keep washing our hands. That's all we could do, and keep sanitizing the whole house. That's all we could do. That's the only precautions that we could take.
Yeah, it's hard to keep distance when there's like over 5 people in one
In one
house,
house, yep.
and we don't have that much bedrooms either. So my little brother sleeps with my parents, and if he gets sick, then well, he would wear a mask, and
We would
there's
get
a
sick.
possibility that my parents can get sick, and my mom goes to work in the office so she can catch whatever
Yep.
floats in
Mhm.
the office. So there's no real easy way out of this, but taking like precautions like washing hands or cleaning and sanitizing things when you're done, like that's all we can do for now. But I mean, it's not like worse when we were in the beginning. Like whenever we went out, we would sanitize our whole clothes and our
Spray
shoes.
everything.
Yeah, it was very like a
'Cause we didn't know
germaphobe.
yet. Yeah, we was
Yeah.
like, yeah, germophobic. Yeah.
Since we live in a multi-generational home, how cautious do we have to be with our grandma and grandpa?
Well, like you said, if any of us are sick, then we need to just stay away and make sure we're not near the elderly, because their immune system is so weak that they can get sick. They can catch any cold, they can catch any flu and any sickness. So we made sure that we kept, if any of us was sick, we kept our distance. So it's a good thing that every one of us got our own rooms. That's the only thing, but that's the best we could have done.
How hard was it seeing people you know, but not being able to spread aloha and greet them by hugging or a kiss on the cheek?
At first, it was hard because you already know Hawaii. We know for hone hone and greeting people with hugs and kisses. That's part of our culture, right? So at first it was hard, but as as the months pass by and you do more research and you understand that some people don't believe in it, some people do, and you just keep a distance, and if they keep coming towards you, then you embrace them. You would embrace them. But most people, if they really was still afraid, they would stay at a distance. So you could tell who really still wanted to show the aloha and who didn't. So that was the good part. And the hardest was when she graduated. We didn't know what to expect, and people came and with masks and all that. So for that, it was hard because they didn't know if they could hug her or whatnot. But they took pictures. People that wasn't scared, they stayed in their car and they just gave a lei or whatever. But that's how we got through that.
Okay, so what do you think or is there any weird information that was presented from like hospital records or COVID cases out there that made you skeptical?
Yes, if you look at what symptoms, if you look at the symptoms of the flu and the symptoms of the COVID-19, it's similar. It's similar. So if it's similar, and the only difference is loss of taste and smell, what does that tell you? Like it's it's the flu. That's what it is. It's the flu. Because now we don't hear any cases of flu. Now everything is COVID-19. You get a broken arm, it's COVID-19. You have a cold, it's COVID-19. You got allergies, it's COVID-19. Right? That's why I know already. They're lying to us. They're lying to us.
Very interesting. So a couple of days ago, a video occurred or resurfaced from our, what is he, a governor? Mayor?
Mayor, I think.
Kirk Caldwell?
Yeah.
Saying how if you have a temperature with 97 degrees or higher, you're tested for you're tested positive for COVID.
Yep.
And a lot of people say it's BS, and because our normal or our regular temperature is around 98.6, so there's no way we can go lower unless we're like dying or something.
And we live in Hawaii. It's humid here, so our body temperatures will be warm.
Yeah.
So that's ridiculous. So every positive case that they have, they get money, federal money. And matter of fact, the federal government has been saying that how'd you guys get in the first lockdown to be the state with the least amount of cases, all of a sudden jump that much? That is ridiculous. Of course, you test people and the tests come out positive, and then people that did take the test, they didn't take the test because they didn't make it to the test because there was a long line. They get called on the phone saying they're positive, but they never took the test. How does that accumulate as a positive test? And
just because they were there.
Just because they was there. That's how you know there's too many red flags showing that they're lying. Too many red flags. And they had to redo the test 3 different times. 3 different times saying that they counted it wrong. They counted wrong and all kind of lies.